Hello. Wait a minute, everyone. My name is William. This is my lovely wife, Sequita. You can see our names on the thing
Screen.
below. What do you call it?
It's a screen.
Oh, on the screen. Okay. So this is one of our things that's been on our. Do you want to call it a bucket list?
Well, I don't think it's a bucket list. It's something we've talked about doing. We've started one, and then life was life, and here we are again.
Okay. Well, here
Take two.
we're gonna be consistent this time.
Take two.
Uh, all right. So we're in different parts of the house because I don't think we could do this together in the same room based on the size of the computer screen. So I'm in one place and she's in another place. Anyway, so we're going to talk about a variety of things, but first we want to talk about how we met. So um, we met online through a is it a would you call it a dating app?
Yeah, it's 100% a dating app. Nobody was on there.
I think it was a matching app, not really a date because we didn't date through the app.
I know, but you match so you could date.
Okay,
So it's
whatever.
a dating app.
Anyway, we met through a dating app, matching app, whatever you want to call it. And I really wasn't looking to get into a relationship. I had a business that I owned. I was real focused on that. And one night I was doing some work, catching up on some work for my business, and this app popped up, and I just got the impression from God to go ahead and get on there and apply, or submit a subscription. So I did that, and the app seemed overwhelming to me. I mean, I had like 30 to 40 to 50, I'll call them candidates at the time, and I was like, this is too much. I'm gonna get off. So after 30 days, I did a month subscription. I said I'm gonna get off. Um, and thanks be to God. I'm gonna say this. Thanks be to God. Sequita is the one that rose to the top. She was the creme de la creme. She was top cheese. And
And I didn't even have my picture on there. It was
you did
just
have your
I don't.
picture on there.
I did not have my picture on
I did
there.
not. I did not do a blind.
You
Hey, how you
absolutely
doing?
did.
No, I
You
didn't.
asked me in one of our conversations, basically, can I see how you look? I did not put a picture on there on purpose.
No, I wanted a picture. I saw your face.
You didn't see my face on the app in the
Well, I don't
beginning.
remember. Maybe so.
Well, I remember because I specifically had signed up for it and never finished the profile because signing up is not just signing up. You had to do kind of the story of your life so that this app could match you with people who met your what you were looking for, your characteristics, whoever it was, whatever you put in there you wanted. The app was very detailed in trying to match you with those type of people. And so my thing always was, because I'm not the skinniest girl in the bunch, I got a little meat on my bones, right? I was a little more chunky even back then, like 18 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, and so there were some insecurities there with, oh, if they see me, they may say I'm too big and I'm not interested.
Right.
And so I was, see, it was December 38, maybe ish.
Hmm.
But it was, like I said, I filled it out a long time ago, didn't finish it, didn't pay for it. And like, and nobody meets each other online. Serial killers and rapists and those kind of people online, like, are lonely, they ain't got nobody, so I'm sorry, no, I didn't mean to do that, sorry. Anyway, um so I happened to be traveling because my job at the time, like, I traveled probably 85%. I was always somewhere but home, and I happened to be in El Paso leading up to New Year's. And my employer's like, "What are you gonna do for New Year's?" Da da da. And I'm like, the same thing. I'm either gonna go to church or I'm gonna sit at home. Excuse me. Probably in a woe is me attitude. This is my New Year's Eve, and I don't have a date. The typical things
Hmm.
that mainstream says, a woman should have at this age. You should at least be out with somebody or with your friends or whatever. I was never a clubber, so that scene didn't appeal to me. Um, so like I wasn't gonna go do that, but I still had that woe is me moment. So my employer, I remember her saying, I had said, well, I started this eHarmony thing, and I don't think I'm gonna do it because of the things I just said. And she's
Mhm.
like, do it. You don't have anything to lose. And I'm like, okay. It was the end of the day, and she's like, let's wait here, finish filling it out. And so I finished filling it out, and William and I were matched in February of the next year. So this was New Year's Eve 2006. And so I was matched with some people prior to meeting with William, and I talked to a couple of them, but in the matching, there's like multiple choice, but then there's that E where you can type in what you might, if the questions don't fit what you're wanting to find out. In E, you could put that. And a couple of them were like, hey, here's my number, call me, I'd like to meet you. And I'm like, I told myself that I wanted to follow the process. It was a very intensive process that led you through questions once you were interacting with your match, and I wanted to like follow it all the way through. And so I told him, if that's what you're looking for, I'm not interested. I want to follow it through. Don't basically come and talk to me anymore. And they didn't. And so there was probably a point. I wasn't like William, and I didn't have 30 and 40 and 50 people all in my inbox. Probably because I didn't have a picture. I don't know. Or maybe I was too detailed in what I was looking for. I don't know. But then we matched on February 17th, 2007.
So, um, I had a question. Um, so when we first matched, what did you think?
I thought you were handsome. And then I thought, he lives in Omaha, Nebraska. Didn't I say
Who
on
said
this
nobody from
profile?
Omaha, Nebraska?
Didn't I say on this profile that I wanted him in a certain geographical region? Or maybe I think I may have said all United States. Because I mean, I was 38 and had been living in Texas for, I don't know, 20 or 34 years. And it
Wow.
just hadn't worked out yet. So maybe I did say um, the entire United States. I definitely didn't say outside of the country because that wasn't happening.
No, I picked Texas and Nebraska. No, I think I extended
I
it to.
think you had Oklahoma as well.
I think I did Texas, um, Georgia. I did down south. I didn't do Midwest. I just I didn't do Midwest.
You didn't want. Okay, I'm not gonna say that. Never mind.
What? Say it.
I was gonna say you. You don't want any crackers in your dressing.
No, no, that wasn't it.
I know. If
But
you
you know
put
what?
crackers
I
in
had
your
this. I'll
dressing,
be honest with
that's
you.
cool. That's cool.
I had this idea that Southern women were different. That was pretty much the basis for me picking Southern states.
Oh, okay.
And it was warmer down there. So if I was going to go somewhere, I didn't want to go anywhere cold.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Mama,
but
Yes,
thinking
honey.
back on it, I think that was
since
my
I like
thought
this
process.
one, can I do this?
So
Sure.
here's what's going to happen, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. We got two kids, and the 5-year-old is probably going to interrupt us a lot, but we're gonna add that into this because you can't get away from your kids, especially at that age. So it is what it is. So we met.
Even when you're in the closet, that's where I am.
So we met February 17th. We were matched February 17th, 2000 and
7.
2007.
Yeah.
You sure?
2007. I know that because I was doing all this typing and chit chatting with you while my brother in law and sister were driving because that was the year of my parents. We gave them a 40th wedding anniversary and they married in 1967.
Oh,
So,
and we married
yeah,
when? When did we get married?
we got married.
we got married
Scooby?
February 2nd, 2008.
Okay. Somebody else is going to be in the closet.
And I'm thankful. I am thankful that um, God. I firmly believe God matched us. It was not
Yeah.
traditional, um, and I really wasn't looking, but I knew I didn't want to be alone. I knew that, but at that time I was like, whatever. I'm it is what it is. So I'm thankful for that. It it went very fast. I think the reason why our relationship went pretty fast is because the process was very detailed. Um,
And we
and
were old.
we were old.
We
Like,
were more mature.
no, no, you said old. I
And
don't like.
and then
What?
and then I could hear this.
Listen, I was 42 and you were what, 40? No,
Oh
you
no,
was
I was
38.
38.
You was
That's why I
38
said.
going on 39. So I was 41. No, I was 40. I was 40. Anyway, um,
You hear that?
yeah, I heard it. Yes, sweetie. I see you changed
She's putting together different swimsuits.
yeah, well,
Yes.
she's mini you. So um where were we?
Um the clock was ticking. We met. You were 40. I was 38
So here's the thing.
ish.
So
Getting
we
ready
won't
to be
get
38.
interested, but that's just life. We're just gonna do life. We're gonna do life as we go along. So again, I think I said I know God joined us together. I know that because that's why I stopped at. The process was very detailed. The questions were very detailed. It's like
Yeah.
you can't really hide. Um, I mean, I guess you can lie, but if you're honest and you follow the
Or you
process,
can say, let's skip and let's move forward.
yeah, you could have did that. But again,
Yeah.
I was like you. We're gonna go through the process. So
Yeah.
we went through the process. We matched up. She came to where I was first. She came to Omaha, Nebraska.
What is wrong with your memory?
Oh, did I come to Texas first?
You came to Texas first for my birthday. Ask Melinda. Remember, I went to her house to Amarillo for the weekend and we were going to meet you at the airport and I packed all these
I
clothes.
remember.
I had
Listen. I remember coming down there. I just thought I came. You came up there first.
No, you came first.
Okay. Well, anyway, she came up here. I came down
I
there.
came shortly after. I went
She
up there
tried. Let
shortly
me tell
after,
y'all something. She tried to
but you
seduce me. Didn't even. She was trying to
no,
seduce
I
me.
didn't.
Yes, you did.
I picked him up in my little escort.
Can you imagine this big old man in an escort? Oh my
Oh, with
goodness!
this.
I could scrunch myself
Our first
in this escort.
our first meal together was Payway.
Yep, I remember that.
And we went back and forth on where he was going to stay when he came down here. I had a 1 bedroom apartment over in Richardson. And I remember talking to Debbie Greggs and you and talking to her. She's like, you guys are going to spend all this time together. It makes no sense to get a hotel because you're going to be, driving back and forth unless you let him take your car, blah, blah, blah. So he ended up staying at my house.
I so I wanted to be a gentleman, and I didn't want to, you know, seem like a, what she was thinking people were, a serial killer or a rapist. so, so I didn't want to stay there, but we agreed. Um, and I stayed on the couch in her apartment, and we went from
He
there.
brought all his information.
Yes. So I was a
And at
great
first I was
cashier.
like, eh? But I appreciated it later.
Yeah, I'm honest. I tried to be honest.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wanted you to know who you was dealing with. I wanted
Yep.
you to do, and again in that process, we talked about our past. We talked about past relationships and all that, and I talked about, we both of us talked about where we wanted to go in life, and we wanted kids, and we talked about all that. So I believe that you need to know everything and know that there are no strings attached to, well, for my feelings for you at that time and my love for you. So I wanted you to know that you was number one, and I didn't have any. I wasn't thinking about anything else or anyone else. So I wanted you to know all that. Oh, look at you! You just speechless now. I see.
No, he brought out everything.
So what she mean by everything is I had been in
Yeah,
previous
divorce
marriage.
decrees.
So I bought the divorce decrees to let her
Yeah,
know that yes,
he's really a divorce.
I'm really
He ain't a,
divorced. I am not hiding. You ain't got to worry about baby mamas and stuff like that. So
yep.
I didn't hide anything.
Even the honorable discharge papers from the military
Yeah, I wouldn't.
too.
I wouldn't. See, I'm not gonna be honest, but I'm like you, Sequita, in the sense that if you're gonna be for real, then be for real.
Right.
Um, Actually, I didn't know that you thought about. I'm not getting on here because there's rapists and serial killers and all that. I didn't think about that, but I just
Who's
said,
my dad?
huh?
Who's my dad?
Who's your dad?
Yeah, who's my dad? Like, what did I grow up with?
Oh, the slaves?
I did not grow up with slaves.
We'll get that
My
later.
dad is in law enforcement. That's a conversation for another podcast, and we
Okay.
need to discuss it before we talk about it. Now, zip it up.
Okay. Anyway, so I didn't know all that, but I did want her to know that I was honest. That's hard to prove over online dating.
Yep.
Now I guess we did
Yep.
meet a couple of times, but still, I brought everything for us. So let's move on. Um, so we got married February 2nd, 2008,
Well,
and
let's back up though,
what?
because I think somebody out there needs to hear this from both perspectives, from a man's perspective and a woman's perspective. So we matched February 17th, 2007, and we saw each other lots of times between the span of my birthday, April, and May. My sister was having a baby, and we were engaged
Oh yeah,
like
August.
March, April, May, 3 months, a little more than 3 months to the day that we were matched.
Mm-hmm.
So we were engaged as of May 31st, 2007, when my nephew was born, his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure in my friend circle, I know for sure in my family, they thought I probably had lost my mind, that I was going to get married to someone that, I mean, let's be honest, when you meet in that capacity and you know each other in that short time, you don't really, really know the person. You know what the Lord has told you and that He's given you peace about it. But there's still going to be things that you learn, because that's just the evolution of human, like of being a human, right? You're not going to know everything from a period of time. Like, I think people that have been married 40, 50 years still learn something new
Yeah.
about their spouse every day, right? Or how often they still learn something new. So I'm sure that was weird. But I remember someone saying to me, well, why are you rushing? Why not? Like, you guys are married. You're married. You're married. You're married. You had your chance. If I am not listening to God and I'm not hearing from Him about this, and it's all in my mind, then it's my mistake to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it is my honor, privilege, the best thing that's ever going to happen to me, and you're going to get to watch it play out for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
There was really only two options.
Mm-hmm.
We were going to get together, and it was going to be a magnificent climb, or we were going to get together and it was going to go down like a turd in a punch bowl. I mean, there's two options. And thank God that we were both listening to His voice.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a slow and steady climb to whatever He has for us. It wasn't the opposite. And so I haven't gone back and said I told you so, because the relationship and what we do speaks for itself.
Mm-hmm.
And it is what it is. I mean, that's what happened. But I said all that to stop you there, to say, women, it does not take 5 and 6 and 7 years for the man to know that you're the one.
Amen.
He knows that you're the one within the first month. He may not have the resources or the means or the words to be able to say it, but he knows you're the one that can't get away. And if you're the one who can't get away, you've made him most comfortable in his being, that he can be free to open up to you and say, you're the person that I want to spend the rest of my life with, but my credit sucks. The only thing I can give you is a small ring that I can buy at Walmart or go to the pawn shop. And we're going to have to struggle until we get to where God wants us to be. He has to feel that comfort. He knows it, but you have to accept him as he is. I know as women, we have this fairy tale. I want this carat ring. I want this shaped diamond. I want this wedding. I want this dress. I want to invite all these people for a day. And your marriage is supposed to last a lifetime. So spend more time focused on who he is and who you are together and what the Lord wants you to do. And at the same time, don't settle. You know in your gut that he is not the one for you, and you stop settling. Stop settling. It's okay. It's okay if you are by yourself. It really is okay, but you have to find a place to be okay with it. And your prayer should be to God, Father, help me to be fine and content in my singleness. And while I'm here in this singleness, help me develop my relationship with you. So no matter what else comes in my life, whether he comes or not, I'm secure in Sequita. And I can live a life. Date yourself. I say that all the time to my single girlfriends. Don't wait for somebody to take you to that nice steak restaurant that you want to go to. Take yourself. If you love sports, take yourself to get, like, that's what I was doing. Yes. Did I want a relationship? Absolutely, positively. I did. But I didn't sit still. I traveled with my girlfriends. I went to football games. I did what I wanted to do married while I was single and enjoyed it. Don't settle. That's all I can say. Do not settle. The hardest thing will be for you to say, I care about you, but this is not it. This is not what the Lord wants for me. And I'm not going to wait for you to figure out if I'm the one, because you should know already.
And I agree with you. As men, we do know. We do know, unless you're playing games.
Yeah.
If you're playing games, then you're playing games. I think women figure that out. I also think
Yeah.
women would, like you said, some of them settle. Well, I'll just play this game and see where it goes. No, men know. We know. We know. We know the woman that is supposed to be with us. There's there's key questions in the heart of a man that has to be answered, and he's not going to reveal it. Well, he may. I revealed those questions. Those questions that I asked her were answered for me to be settled in my heart and settled in my mind. Now, I will say this: there was
Here we go.
listen.
Here we go.
There was a
Here
moment where
we
I was like, I don't know. And that moment was, and I know I talk about it a lot, but it caused me to
Woo!
pause.
Let it
And
go.
listen, black women, let me tell you something. When I heard her say this, I was like, I am not going through that. She said, and I'm a strong, independent black woman. I was like, nah, don't want it.
I didn't say, I said it in a writing to you. It was in one of
Whatever,
our
it was
correspondence.
spoken, it was said, it was communicated.
It
And
didn't have no, that's what you was
that's what
used
I
to.
saw. That's what I saw. That's what I saw. It don't matter. I saw the neck rolling. I was like, Lord, listen, I already been through one of those. I don't want to do this again. And he said, be patient. And I said, okay, we're gonna see how this play out. And it played out well. Played out well. But I will say that she was a strong independent black woman.
I was? I'm
Sequita.
not still?
Sequita. What?
I'm not still?
No, you're not. You're a strong, interdependent black woman.
Yeah, there we go.
You're not a
Yeah.
strong, independent black woman. Anyway, so that almost for me, that sent me somewhere mentally. But again, here we are. Um,
But the Lord said, wait.
it wasn't you who was reeling me in. It wasn't you. I can tell you that right now. It wasn't you.
I know the Lord said, wait.
Well, quit doing that. You didn't reel me in. So anyway, that's the beginning of our relationship. And we've been lifing for what, 19 years now?
What year is this? 2025? 18 years. No, 19 years. You're right.
Well, see, look at you.
I can't add. I know when our wedding day is. And I know who came to visit first. So,
Whatever. So here we are. We are newly. We got married February 2nd, 2008, and by the end of that year, Sequita is carrying our first child, and then
yep.
life began.
Ouch.
Lifing challenges happen. Uh, December 28th, 2008. Mr. William Thomas Myers Carlisle was born. And there goes our first, I don't even know what to call it. I don't want to say it's a test because it wasn't a test. Our first life moment together, dealing with trauma.
Yeah.
Our son was born with several. Actually, you're more better at the medical terms than I am. He was born with some medical challenges. We knew because before Sequita got pregnant, we knew that we were older parents. They warned, I can say warned us, but they informed
Advanced
us.
maternal age.
They informed us that that things could happen because of our age, and of course, I believed against it. I prayed against it. I thought that things were going to be okay. I'm sure Sequita thought the same thing. So as her pregnancy is going along, and I can't speak on her pregnancy, but I really didn't sense anything. I thought the pregnancy was normal. I thought it was healthy, but things changed when he was born. So I'll let her talk about how the pregnancy went, how she felt about it, and go ahead.
Well, okay. So, hang on. Check backstage. So my pregnancy was like uneventful. I threw up one time in the entire pregnancy. Did not have morning sickness, headaches, didn't have issues with my blood pressure, like anything. It was a very uneventful pregnancy. Kicking, just normal. It wasn't until we delivered that we found out that Will had Down syndrome. And so there are many kids, you say, you're like, well, he had Down syndrome. What else happened? So there are many kids who are trisomy 21. That's what Down syndrome is medically. And they function in the world, right? Yeah, you have to do a little more for them, help them get along in the world. But there also are kids with trisomy 21 who have a myriad of other health issues, kidney problems, heart problems, lung issues. It just depends what affects. And our son had a little bit of it all. I won't say a little bit of it all. So what was determined when he was born was that he had trisomy 21, but he had PIH, which is pulmonary hypertension basically. And so what happens is our hearts are red blood and blue blood, right? His were mixing, and it was causing him to have episodes where he would stop breathing. So really it started out with his heart. So at the hospital that he was born at wasn't a children's hospital. It was a level 3 NICU, which is one of the higher ones that you can have a child at. So they know how to do things. There's surgeons there that can do things. But what happened there is a lot of times to help that type of baby, you give them fluid. Well, there's a such thing as fluid overload. And when there's fluid overload, when you are a small infant and you have small kidneys and all your organs are small, it can blow your kidneys. And so that is what happened as well. So because of his heart condition and trying to stabilize that, he had a surgery. They put, they want to be able to have a source if something happens really bad, to be able to give fluids, medicines, whatever. So he got his brachial in his arm, but the fluid overloaded his kidneys, which forced him into
Kidney failure.
kidney failure. So him and William, I think day one of life, they were already getting him ready to go to the children's hospital in our city. And so I had a C-section. I can't just get up and walk out of the hospital. So William and Will head over to the children's hospital. They get him stabilized. Like, he is puffy, like huge, because he's on fluid overload. And so they try to get some of that fluid off of him. I think probably the next surgery that he had was peritoneal dialysis. So it's baby dialysis. And so they got him equipped for that. So every 12 hours they were, fluid out, fluid in, what you do for dialysis. And they were trying to get him stable so they could fix the heart condition. So they did all that. I left day 2.5. Still in major pain, but I didn't want to still be at this hospital and they're across town. So when they released me, and I spent the night at the hospital, at the children's hospital. That was super painful, but they kept getting ready. I don't even really know the timeline of everything, but if you want to go and read it, his blog spot is still up. It's littlewills.blogspot.com. William can drop it wherever if you want to go and read like everything about what happened. So he was in the hospital at the children's hospital from December 29th to 13 to July 13th, 12th or 13th of 2009. And he moved to a rehab hospital because we were trying to get him ready to come home. We had to learn how to do dialysis and all these things. And the funny thing about Will, like, every floor that he ever moved to, he's like, it's little Will, and I'm in the house, and I'm going to make you use your skills.
Yeah.
He would have an incident where his oxygen levels would drop. So he was on the 12th floor when we first got there, which was PICU. Okay, he's going to go and have heart surgery. Let's go down to, I don't know, 7. I'm making it up at this point because I don't remember. He gets down there. Hi, drop, SATs drop. So then he's back critical care. Can't have surgery. Let's go back up to 12th floor. The next thing is, well, let's put him on the kidney floor because he seems to be doing good. He goes to the kidney floor. Again, what's up? And it was no different when he went to the rehab hospital. The difference at the rehab hospital are 2 things. One, the rehab hospital is a rehab hospital. It is not equipped to handle any sort of critical care needs of anyone for longer than the ambulance can get there. Mm-hmm. And number 2 is, when it's your time, it's your time. Mm. And there's no amount of medical intervention that's going to keep you here. If God is calling you home, regardless of who's left here to endure the hurt, the pain, if it's your time, it's your time. And so he was at Baylor, our children's house. I got a phone call like 9:45 a.m. saying he's having an episode, like he's desatting. And I'm in Austin, Texas. And so I call William and say, You got to get up there. This is what's happening. Um, I grab my things. I don't know how I got to the airport, unsure of really how. This was back at Southwest when you had to stand in line, put your bags to get in A. Somehow, I don't know. I met somebody, a beautiful woman, an angel in waiting. She talked to the flight attendants. I was on the plane first. She sat up front with me. She offered to drive me to the hospital, but I'm like, I'm fine. I'll do it. But by the time I got there, and I think even by the time you got there, he had already passed away.
Yeah.
Like they took him to ER at Baylor, and he had passed away. And the lesson that I learned from that, well, there's lots of lessons, but this one thing that I hear the Spirit saying to remind people is we all have loved ones, right? We might live in the same city, we might live in different states. The point is, we live our lives every day, wherever we are. You are 9 times out of 10, 9.9999 out of 10, probably not going to be with your loved one when they pass away. So if there's ever a guilt for you not being there, you should never carry that guilt because you were meant to be there. If you were meant to be there, God would have had you there.
Hmm.
But if you're not there, it's God's will. And your responsibility is to seek Him for clarity on what His will is for you, not for the person that went on, because that's between him or her and God. But in every death that you experience of someone that's close to you, there's a lesson for you. And you need to be seeking God to help me understand, what am I supposed to learn from so and so's passing? Show me, teach me, prepare me for whatever it is that you have coming. So that's what the Holy Spirit wants to share today. There's much, much more, but I'm at the point where I'm going to be upset. So I'm not going to share anymore today. We'll share on future podcast.
Um, for me in that situation, I don't know if I ever shared this with you. I might have, Sequita, that um, one night I was laying with Will uh, in the hospital room, and an angel came to get him.
Mm.
And I said, no. I said, no, not now. No, not now. So they didn't take him that night. I mean, when I look back on it,
Yeah.
they didn't take him that night. And I believed um, with all my heart that God would heal Will. Um, but it didn't happen. So the night before Will passed, the night before the angels came to get him, um, I remember the Lord said, "Go home." He said, "Go home, get some rest, go home." And I just had this feeling that Will was going to leave. I still stick to that. I just had this feeling. So I looked at Will and I said, "You better not go anywhere." That's what I said to him. But I obeyed and I went home because I needed to get some rest. I was up. We sat 6 months straight in the hospital. One of us was there every day. Matter of fact, I quit my job to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I said, "Don't go anywhere." And the next day when I got the phone call, I just shook my head. And I said, he's he's going home. I mean, like you said, Sequoia, there's nothing we can do about it.
Nope.
If God wanted me there, He would have said stay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
when I think about it now, I think if I would have asked for Him to stay, he would have said okay again. But then he would the when I think about it, the process was for him to come here, do what God called him to do for that 6 months, and then go home.
Mm-hmm.
As painful as it was, um, it woke me up to some things. It woke me up
Mm-hmm.
to, what did God call you to do, William? And I would have these encounters with Will. We would look at in each other's eyes, and I would have these encounters with him, and he would look at me like, what did God call you to do, Dad? And I was like, um, but that's when I started a different journey with the Father. My walk changed with the Father, um, and with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. It started to change from that point. Um, and that's what I remember. I remember these silent conversations with Will. Um, these just silent conversations, um, and getting back on the direction that God called me
Mm-hmm.
to get back on. And initially, when he passed, I didn't cry. I don't know if you remember that, Sequita. I didn't cry because I knew ahead of time that
Mm-hmm.
that the Father was going to take him. And then one day I was sitting, and I think you came and you hugged me. I was sitting in my office, and it all came out. The second time was when I was at his gravesite with, I think I was with Cameron. Yeah, my other son Cameron, and it all came out again. Um, and I'm gonna say this to you men, to us men, not you men, us men. Um, can't hold that stuff in. Can't hold in grief. I mean, you can, but it's not going to be good. Can't hold in anger. Can't hold in sadness. You can't say, I'm strong, I got this, because at some point it's going to burst.
Mm-hmm.
I remember we were on the second floor, by the way, Sequita, the kidney floor.
Oh, okay.
And they were taking his blood out, putting it back, whatever they were doing at the time.
There was he went on ECMO.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, uh, I'm not strong enough. Um, I can't bear my wife's pain. I don't know what to do with that. I can't bear that my son is sick. I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with none of that. And the Father said to me, he said, before she's your wife, she's my daughter. So that relieved so much pressure off of me, because he says, I got her. Even though you're her husband, I got her. She's my daughter. And I said, okay. And I let that go. And I said that to say this: as men, God didn't put it on us to handle the weight of the world. He put it on us to handle his grace, his mercy, his love. That's what he put on us. And that's light. But when we allow the world to dictate to us that this is the way you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to do it, you're going to die a quick death. And what do I mean by that? Mentally, emotionally. We talk about men's mental health. I mean, men were committing suicide a little while ago. That's the kind of pressure that some of us men are carrying, and not going to the Father and say, I can't do it. I'm failing as a husband. I'm failing as a father. I'm failing at my business. I'm failing in all these areas. And what we try to do is say, when the world says you need to man up and handle it, no. You go to the Father and say, I can't do it. And then he's the one that will uh, relieve that stress. And he says, give it to me. Now you can be stubborn, but I wasn't stubborn because I was at my wit's end. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't. I didn't know what to do. So that's one thing that I learned um, in my new in this new direction that God was taking me in our relationship. That you ain't always got to be strong as a man,
Mm-hmm.
and all those things that you heard uh, that you heard from the world. I'm gonna say it this way: that you
Mm-hmm.
heard from society. That's not true with him. So um, to go back, our relationship at the beginning was whirlwind. It was fun. All those things. It was fun. It was fun. Um, the joy of pregnancy. It was like she said, it was uneventful, but it was fun. It was, we got to feel him kick. We got to uh, um, we got to do she got my wife Sequita got to enjoy the joys of pregnancy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but we didn't know it would end up in, and I don't want to say tragedy. It ended up in trauma um, and life lessons. Um, Another thing as a husband, um, I I confronted my wife on one issue that she was trying to bury. I remember sitting at the side of the bed. I said, "Are you angry at God?" She goes, "No." I said, "Yes, you are. You are angry at him." And I said, "It's okay. It's okay to be angry at him. He's big enough to handle himself." And I don't know if that was the turning point for her. I never discussed it with her. I just knew at that point the father said, "You tell her." You ask her, "Is she angry with me?" And when you said no, I knew it wasn't true.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think once she admitted that, and she can confirm this or not confirm it, I think once my wife admitted that her relationship with God changed.
Absolutely, it did. But I won't get into that on this
Okay.
podcast episode number one. You got to come back and listen so that you can hear more about. Um, I didn't share everything about the pregnancy and some of the difficulties that I experienced, not the pregnancy, but after Will was born, with my employer,
Hmm.
with three other coworkers that I was friends with. We were all pregnant at the same time. I had to deal with those relationships. Um, and then my anger for God. The other things that go on once you deliver a baby, breast milk. There's so much more to unpack. So come back to our next episode as we start to unpack life with Will. Um, and then I want to say new life after Will, with Will as our guardian angel leading us um, in the direction that the Lord wanted us to go.
And so there we will end this podcast at this particular point, and
See you
come
on the
back
flip
for the
side.
next episode. It's gonna be full of ups and downs, ups and downs. But this is life, and this
Yep.
is Real Talk with the Carlisles. See you on the next episode.
Bye.